Hi sweets and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to give my review in the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hydrating Foundation. This is complementing the Pretty Fresh line from Colourpop. It comes in a frosted plastic component. Also it has a pump and the lid. I'm in the shade Light 60N. Also, I'm going to be reviewing the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer. This one was launched before the foundation. This was launched in conjunction with the Tinted Hyaluronic, it was a Tinted Fresh Hyaluronic Moisturizer or something like that. I didn't get the chance to get it at that time because it wasn't available in my shade. When I was ordering the foundation, my shade was finally available, so that's why we're going to review both products at the same time. So let's just start. The first time that I tried it was with my Mulan, try it on, getting ready with me, something like that. Try to use everything Colourpop related. So I started with the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Primer. I applied it all over my face. Then I went with the foundation. I used a brush, a really dense one, and I applied it all over my face. Then I make sure to buff it into my entire complexion. It was the moment that I noticed that I picked the perfect shade for myself. Then I used the concealer. I dot, I think, around 4 of them, and I blended it with my Sephora Pro 57 brush. I really blended it into my complexion, and I noticed I needed a little bit of more coverage, so I applied one more dot and I blended it. This was my video with the Mulan collection, and it's there. Everything else that I used, it was from the Mulan collection, which everything worked wonderfully with the foundation and the concealer. That's why I didn't put it here, because it was going to be redundant. For the next try, I switched things a little bit, and I started with my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enrich Face Base, and I applied it all over my complexion. I used a sponge in this try. As soon as I finished blending it into my entire complexion, I went with the foundation. I did also apply it in my entire complexion. I buffed it and I blended it. Then I went with the concealer, and I tried to do kind of a spot concealing in my face. I have this mark here, and I tried to spot conceal, as I said, and I blended it with the sponge. So far it was looking really good. It didn't take away a lot of the coverage that this product offered. Also, I wanted a little bit more coverage, so that I dotted myself again, just one in this area here, and I blended it. My complexion looked really nice. To set my entire complexion, I went with the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. I used Light Fair in my under eye and Light 15 in my entire complexion. The rest of the products that I used, also they were Colourpop related, because I did 2 looks. This is the base that I used for the other look for the Mulan collection. Now for the third time, I started it with my Touch and Soul No Pore Blend Primer. I applied it all over my face. Then for the foundation, I used another brush. This is the Real Techniques Buffing Something brush, and I blended it in my entire complexion. Then for concealer, I use exactly the same concealer, and I use the same method, dotted into my under eye and blended it with the same brush that I use for my complexion, which helped to just even out both of the shades or the tones of the products that I use. For setting everything, I went in my entire complexion, meaning my under eye and my face, with the Born This Way setting powder from Too Faced. And for the rest of my complexion, I use the Glam palette from Linda Halber, and everything worked so beautifully on top of these products. And last but not least, I started using the Touch and Soul Pretty Filter Glassy Skin Balms. This is one of my favorite primers that I use. I applied it in my entire complexion and blended it with my hands, which is usually the method that I use. Then I went with the foundation in my entire complexion. I use a different brush. I was trying it. It was the Alamar Cosmetics bronzing brush, but I liked it better for my complexion. Then I use the concealers, and I use another new brush from Sigma, Precision Round, the P82 brush, and I blend my concealer with it. Then to set everything in place, I went with the Milk Makeup Blur Set Matte Loosening Setting Powder. It did a really good job with this. I apply bronzer, blush, and highlight. Everything works seamlessly and everything looked good. So my final thoughts for this product are, but firstly, just let me point this out. I have a normal skin type. Also, I don't like full coverage in my face. I like it to see in other people. I don't like it how it looks in me. If you are in this bracket, I'm directing my opinion to you. If you are in this bracket, you won't like this foundation because it isn't a full coverage. It's kind of a light to a medium coverage. Maybe you can build it up to a full medium, but it won't go to a full coverage. Same thing going for the concealer. I like the result that I got every time that I tried this foundation. I tried with different primers. Firstly with a hydrating, and then I went a silicone one, and also I tried a smoothing type of a primer, and I like each one of the tries. Also, the powders that I used to set everything in each of the tries, they were different type of powders, going from matte towards blur towards just hydrating loose finishing one, and every time they perform really good on top of the foundation. Same thing with the concealer. So the same result with all the products that I use to finish up my complexion, meaning bronzer, blush, and highlights. If you like what I like, I encourage you to do it because you will like the finish or the result that you will get from those products. So this is it. I hope you like it, and if you did, press the like button. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. I really appreciate it. And if you want to get notified every time I upload a video, press the notifications bell. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.